They know exactly what happened in my kids and are avoiding accountability. Matter of fact, Anderson Police Department officer told me that he was going to arrest me for asking about my kids and whether my kids are at, or where my kids are at, because I said that they were abducted. I don't care what a court order says. If you're a good person and you know where my kids are at, or if you've seen them, my kids, or have my kids, you need to bring them home immediately to my house because of the forged documents and signatures. It says bring them home immediately. This is all messages from me, okay? Bring them home immediately. Says, okay, here, this is a good one right here. Kendra's house, they get abused and neglected and abducted and concealed away from their daddy. That's why I asked if you would give them a phone so they could call me, and they were getting they were getting where they abducted again from Kendra's house. Last Friday, Jace hadn't seen his brother and sister for a month, and Kendra had not answered any calls. Finally, after the month, my son seen his brother and sister, locked himself in the room and called 911. He called Reading Police Department, and I called Police Department, and I called 911 as well. And we waited for 3 hours for the police officer to show up at Jason Lord and Kendra Snyder's house. Okay? We waited all night for somebody to respond so that Jace could show them Kendra Snyder's medication, medical records, and custody paperwork from Sacramento. No one showed up, not once. Not one person showed up. Karen came in the middle of the night at 11 after getting a phone call from Jason about the situation, and Jason and Karen took the kids out of the house forcefully into the car, and Karen took off. Okay, my 13-year-old son right there. My 13-year-old son was devastated, traumatized by the events, and I called local law enforcement, who refused to respond to the abduction cases. 13 years old. If he wants a relationship with his brother and sister, he has to go through his mom, and she refused to answer the call or answer any calls. The call to refuse to answer the call. Matter of fact, she doesn't even want to see him or call him. That's the parent that she is. She doesn't give a shit about Jace, and she has no idea where Jackson and Ava are at. The school lied to me, and district attorney's office lied to me. Reading police officer lied to me. Reading Police Department lied to me every day. Everybody involved in the situation from the very beginning. About an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old in a school is lied to me about their whereabouts and their situation. Anybody who has my kids will be arrested for abduction, and if you want to believe everybody else, then go ahead and sit your ass in prison, because I'm telling you right now that there's no reason why, and I was saying that the court shouldn't have the kids. There's no reason why that she doesn't, okay. Traumatized by, okay, now look at who this is from, okay? If you look at this is copied from her phone, right? You could tell, right? It's from a phone. This is Jace's picture right here. 13 years old. He's been traumatized by abduction. My three children were abducted in 2016, and I was lied to by Shasta County, saying that they were safe and that they were okay. Shasta County has avoided accountability since 2016, has lied to every official, lied to everybody outside the county. And my son made a valid point. How do I know they're safe if they're not there? That's what he said. He told the social worker basically, how do I know my brother and sister are safe just because you're telling me? Why shouldn't I be able to see my brother and sister and talk to them on the phone every day? That's what he said. And what had happened was Shasta County basically took them and had control of them, and they were basically talking to an advocate, and they didn't like what they were saying, so they kept them. So here's another one. It says, you're right. You have changed. You love yourself. You love being a prostitute. love gross men on top of you, sweating, greedy judges, drooling and pissing on your head, and watching them molest our children. You can make believe and pretend like you had a good life once. Think about me in jail and tell the guard that your husband is going to protect you. Today was the last day I ever will protect you, dummy. And the reason why I was texting this to Kendra at the time was because I was talking to the Attorney General's office saying, this is what's going on, dude, and then this is your last chance for me to help you, okay? And I was trying to get people to respond to the fact that these court orders have been altered and changed, and forgery and documents have been changed so many times in Shasta County, especially Sacramento County as well, and I was getting upset about it, dude. I don't like talking about the fact that this is what has happened to our family, but what I got to the point that I couldn't get help anywhere else unless I was talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, unless I told everybody what was going on, I filed a restraining order against Jason in Shasta County Court and your family, and got help from outside the county, federal government, and Kaiser Insurance. And after all this time, for years, I tried helping you, and your loyalty lies with your child molester mom and dad, an abusive pie. I never said that. I said basically her boyfriend was abusive. I gave you so many chances and opportunities to change your life. I'm disgusted by you and your mom. That's why I was at the house. That's why she was at our house months before you left. I overheard her talking about the entire situation. I had hoped for some reason you would be the person I married in the day you asked me. I don't. Some of the messages are kind of messed up, but what I was trying to, my point was that I was trying to basically get her to get the kids out of here, and basically saying, like, look, I've already been asking for help for a long time, and I've already been telling everybody what's going on. So please get out of the county and get help. And these are all messages that I was literally sending her. Okay, Judge Gibson literally abducted my wife and children, and will go to prison for abduction, human trafficking. You must like getting beaten, Kendra. Now, what I'm saying to her, dude, is basically for 6 years I've been trying to get her to get her and the kids out of here. I've told everyone in the world what you've done. Your mom forged federal documents once they've forced into the hospital, family dynamics, prostitute my wife and children, and I have told the White House all about your new life and the church and online sex work network, and I think you're disgusting. Now listen, what I'm saying to her is that I think that she's disgusting because she's not helping the kids. I'm not saying that her lifestyle is disgusting. I'm not saying that what had happened to her is disgusting. What I'm saying is that she's had multiple opportunities to get help with me and get help outside the county, and she can't. You know, so what I was saying to her at this time was basically like, wake up, Kendra, wake up. These are all messages straight to her, dude. Straight to her voicemail. You know what I mean? Straight to her phone. And what's funny is these are all filed with the court. Okay? Made with Shelley. These are all filed in Shasta County Superior Court. So if Shasta County Superior Court actually looked through all this paperwork and looked and paid and read it, then they would see that she's basically filed all this stuff because she wants help. I just realized that you don't know anything about our court, that's been happening. The state petition to take our kids from us. Family dynamic diagnosed you with the mental illness, diagnosed me with mental illness, and said that the kids are damaged by our parenting, and petitioned the court. My lawyer, dude, stabbed me in the back, and that's why I didn't understand where Shelley Morgan came from and how you got the money to hire her. And now she's not telling you everything either. Then that's really suspicious, and I'm not around. I'm not joking. You need to know what's going on. So does this sound like threats or violence, or does this sound like anything like that? Does this sound like that I'm harassing her, as well as forged documents and forged court orders? I don't think you ever knew the whole story. Does this sound like somebody that's like that wants to go after her, or that I'm trying to go after her? It sounds nothing like that. This basically is saying that everything that I'm talking about. I am suing this county. I have been sending letters to DA, sheriff, and city council members asking for disclosure of all records. Now, what the problem is? This is what happens. Okay, the problem is that the people that have basically taken control of her life, right? What they're doing is they have their own legal law firm, right? And what they're doing is they're using fake signatures and forged documents to represent her illegally. You understand? So they're filing lawsuits against the government. They're filing lawsuits against the state attorney general's office. They're filing lawsuits against everybody that helps, because they, for one, they want money, lots of money, right? But for two, it's forged documents and signatures. So that would be really important in a litigation lawsuit against any government entity, right, or any government department or agency, to know where those documents came from. And a matter of fact, look at the evidence that I've had from the very beginning saying that these documents have been forged. There's so many different signatures. Like this is a signature, right? And what they're doing is, if you notice right here, okay, if you notice right here, this is a paralegal. If you notice the signatures and some of the court documents, you'll notice that they're photocopied. So this is a photocopied signature, right? And see how the difference between the signatures. And so what they're saying is they're like, well, here she is right here. She's signed right here, right? But Kendra's been so confused with everything that's been going on, she doesn't understand, right? So look, that's not the same as this. You understand? Okay, and so these documents have been filed in the Shasta County Superior Court. So that's why I say that they're responsible for abduction, is for one, they've known about this entire situation from the very beginning, right? Two, that she has filed herself paperwork that basically supporting the claim of abduction and forged documents. Three, the fact is that they're responsible for these documents and for the filing of these documents. Do you understand? Like, you can't file something in federal district court that's forged documents and then lie about it later on and say that you didn't know anything about it. That doesn't make any sense. This was a civil rights a complaint with the HHS, okay? This is on October of 2021, dude. This has been going on for years, right? Years and years and years. And all the documentation is basically, it's available online. I mean, it would be available online. Like, this is all documents and stuff that I've gotten from the court in the past and whatnot, But the fact is that you basically would have to go through it like a PowerPoint and go through all the things that have been said. Okay, this is a police report from 2020. Made contact with male, conducted probation search of the person and living area. Says, and did not find anything that has raised concern of drug abuse. Also, visits probation regularly and does drug testing regularly. And it says right here, male made strange statements during conversation about people following him through his phone. And he's worried and paranoid. Now, I'll tell you what I said to Anderson Police Department. What I said is that Kendra and her boyfriend had been harassing me through the phone and basically cyber stalking me and cyberbullying me all the time. And I was bringing that up to their attention because I'd already made a police report. Now, the fact is that I was on probation for 4 years and regularly drug tested and regularly checked into probation. So the probation report says that I was basically had a problem with authority and refused to participate, or refused basically probation searches and stuff like that. Was a flat out lie. But not only that, but this is back in 2020, and I'm talking about her harassing me on the phone, basically harassing me every day about the phone all the time, constantly. And so this is all, like, if you were to say that she was going to be arrested for abduction, right? Then you would need all this evidence, correct? And then not only that, but you would want this evidence in the prosecution case. Well, see, when she got arrested down in Sacramento for abduction, they basically ignored the evidence, didn't want any of it. They went through the documentation from Sacramento County and Shasta County, and that's not enough. That's not the evidence that you need. Those documents have been changed and forged. So it gets really interesting when you start talking about the case and start really break things down. You start to realize, like, you're arresting people for helping,